Thanks for letting me come tonight. When Monica, my wife, and I, and Jeff handed out the literature, we put the couple's picture on front because I wanted everybody to know I was at least smart enough to marry way up. And I mean that sincerely. She's a wonderful, wonderful lady. But when Monica and I decided to run for lieutenant governor, we didn't want to run just to run. We didn't want to run because I was a midterm in the Senate and it was a stepping stone in some people's eyes, or because we had an easy shot at it because I was midterm. I wanted to run for a conviction and for reasons. And my reasons for lieutenant governor I'm going to get into for a moment, but I want to kind of share with you some information that was an impetus to our decision to run for lieutenant governor. Oklahoma is a great state. We would all agree with that. We're not just okay, we're a great state. And it's like Will Rogers used to say, to paraphrase him, he said, I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else, but I'll be darned if I'm not just as good. Well, I would argue that Oklahoma is the greatest state in the nation. About a year ago, I took a map of Oklahoma. You would visualize that outline of Oklahoma for a moment as we walk through this. There are 30 border counties in Oklahoma. 30. And I had the per capita income listed in every one of those counties around the state. Then I got a region map and transposed next to it the border counties in Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, Texas, New Mexico, and Colorado. With that per capita of that border county in a different state listed. And then I made a comparison of those 30 border counties. Only 3 had a higher per capita income than their neighboring counties in a different state. 3 out of 30. I looked at those counties closer in Oklahoma. 2 had a very low population base and a very, very productive and successful employer in those counties. So in my mind, that was very skewed results. I took those 2 out. We're down to 1. I looked at that county, which is kind of close to the Panhandle, had a very, very, very low population base and very high royalty interests. I took that out. I thought those results were skewed. We were down to 0 out of 30 of our counties had a higher per capita income than a neighbor just across a very artificial border. You can't even see the border on the ground. And just take Texas, for example, in the Red River. It's the same air on both sides of the Red River that Oklahomans in Texas breathe. It's the same water that Oklahomans in Texas drink. It's the same accent. The children look the same. The grandchildren look the same. Air and water is the same. There's one thing different. Why the per capita income would be so skewed inches apart? Public policy. Public policy. We talked about athletics in my bio, and I mentioned a little bit tonight already. Big athletic celebration tonight with Curtis retiring his jersey. As Oklahomans, we expect the very best from our coaches. If you look at our 3 Division I coaches, Mike Gundy, Bob Stoops, Todd Graham over in Tulsa, just to pick the 3 Division I football coaches, we expect them to beat Rice, Houston, Texas A&M, Baylor, Texas Tech, Texas. Every school they play in Texas, we expect them to beat them. Now, if you're a Sooner fan, and Bob Stoops is ranked 25th in the country, and Mack Brown's ranked 1st in the country, the week before the Red River rivalry, do you start making excuses? No, you expect Bob Stoops to win. If our coaches, basketball coaches, softball coaches, after they got beat by Texas, if they were to say, well, shucks, Texas is bigger, Texas is older, Texas has been around longer, shucks, it's Texas. Castiglione would fire Bob Stoops. Boone Pickens would shoot Mike Gundy. We don't tolerate any excuses with public policy, with economic development. We have tolerated with our public policy in Oklahoma. With our athletics, we don't tolerate any excuses. That was an impetus for my decision to run for lieutenant governor. I want to beat Texas in something besides athletics. It's far time we do that. I'm a little selfish in this endeavor. You've seen the brochure that Jeff handed out. My wife and I, we have a 9-year-old son and a soon-to-be 7-year-old little girl. Our son's soon to be 10. I don't want them to live in another state when they're grown because that's where they found opportunity. They're going to be well-educated here in Oklahoma, and I don't want them to leave the state's borders because they had to because of opportunity. I want to do 3 things as your lieutenant governor. I want to focus on business retention. This all focuses around economic development. I'm the only candidate for lieutenant governor, one, that's gainfully employed outside the state capital. I go to a job on a regular basis, either physically or I'm on the cell phone dealing with business issues where I'm tethered to my real job outside the state government. That's a unique perspective I'm going to make. I'm also the only candidate for lieutenant governor that's been on official economic development missions on behalf of our state. Back in the 90s, when I worked for Governor Keating and his administration, I traveled to half the United States and to foreign countries selling Oklahoma, quite frankly, when the story wasn't as good to sell. We didn't have right to work. We didn't have lawsuit reform. Our tax burden was greater. Workers' comp was a mess then. We're still on a challenge now. You're going to see some workers' comp reform this legislative session. I want to focus on economic development because that's where the opportunity is with this economic challenge in our nation. Business retention. So many people always want to talk about business recruitment, but I think we're missing the boat if we don't focus on entrepreneurs that are in our state already. Oklahoma entrepreneurs, moms and dads that set up shop and created jobs, have loyalty to Oklahoma, and they're not here for a tax credit. Some other company might come in, we'll welcome them. But you always got to wonder, when that tax credit expires, will they go elsewhere for another tax credit? Let's focus on our entrepreneurs that are here already, setting up shop, employing moms and dads, and granddads, and grandmoms, and future kids that we have in Oklahoma. Business retention. There's an economic development or small business roundtable associated with the Office of Lieutenant Governor. I want to expand that and visit with our entrepreneurs and ask them, what public policy works for you in Oklahoma? If you're engaged in another state with your business, what does that state do differently than Oklahoma? Can we adopt that here? Can we enact that here so you can thrive and prosper even more? Business retention. Then I want to focus on business recruitment after we focus on our current entrepreneurs. Travel anywhere that might have Oklahoma on a short list. Any company might say, okay, we'll consider Oklahoma. Sit down and visit with them and make a pitch to them on why they need to relocate to Oklahoma. Right now, Governor Keating still sends me homework. I worked for him for 4 years. He sent me an article this past summer when he heard I was considering running for lieutenant governor. You may have read it. It was entitled Going Alamo, and it was in the National Review periodical. Typical Texas propaganda piece. A Texas economist said, if you want to find out where people are going, you contact U-Haul. It's a novel idea. He did that. Renting a one-way U-Haul from Austin, Texas to San Francisco cost $900. This is documented. You can find it. It's got footnotes. It's impressive. $900. Austin to San Francisco. That exact same U-Haul, one way, same square footage, everything, from San Francisco to Austin, $3,000. Supply and demand. What's the point? People are leaving California in droves. And they're going to Texas, the article said, the propaganda piece said, because Texas has a reputation of low taxation, low regulation, and a place where companies thrive and prosper. Well, our goal as public officials should be to redirect that and make that a reverse Drapes of Wrath. Redirect it from Austin to north of the Red River. And who wants to live in California right now? It's an earthquake on Monday, mudslide on Tuesday, wildfire on Wednesday, bankruptcy by Thursday, no job by Friday. Companies are wanting to leave California. Proof is in the pudding. Business retention, business recruitment, and lastly, tourism is an issue that is legally and constitutionally assigned to the Office of Lieutenant Governor. With tourism, I'd like to branch out a new area that I don't think the state has really focused on before. Economic development tourism. We have a very unique state with 4 unique topographical regions. Oklahoma's open for business is the message I would like to send the nation. A company may not have us on a short list, but every company has an annual conference every year. You can only go to Vegas so many times before every slot machine looks the same. You can only go to Manhattan so many times before every show tune sounds the same. Come to Oklahoma. Here's our 4 unique topographical regions. Here are our state resorts. Here are our private resorts. What would you like to do for your annual conference? No strings attached. We're not going to make a pitch to you while you're here. What would you like to do? We'll help you set up that week-long conference in Oklahoma. So in the future, if that company is considering expansion or relocation, they have a very favorable impression of Oklahoma. Retention, recruitment, and economic development, tourism. Oklahoma is the crossroads of our country. With I-35, I-40, I-44, we should be a booming economic mecca. We should. And we're not. And that frustrates me as a state senator, frustrates me as a candidate for lieutenant governor, frustrates me as a father with a soon-to-be 10-year-old and a soon-to-be 7-year-old. Where's the opportunity? It should be in Oklahoma. you can boil the agenda down to this, and this isn't to sound cute or clever, but I mean it when I say it. I want to make the best thing in Texas I-35 North. Now, that's going to take some doing. I mean, I know that's not going to happen overnight. That's not one bill that gets passed in the state Senate, the state House, and boom, it's done. But we've got to compete with Texas. Look, depending which figures you look at, and I'll close with this. Texas would be the 7th or 12th richest economy in the world if they were an independent country. And sometimes they think they are, often they act like they are. To be this close geographically to the 7th or 12th richest economy in the world, we've got to seize that opportunity. We're missing the boat, and we haven't passed.